Hello, everybody. I wanted to start doing this more often, talking about healing, getting through your trauma, through sicknesses, through addiction, finding recovery, all of these things. They're really important, and it took me so long in my life to even get to the point where I could start actually working on these things. And I lived a life full of all these things, and it took me a long time to learn how to heal correctly and to get through the things that I was going through and get through them the right way. I fought every battle with, a handful of pills and different substances and alcohol, all kinds of different things to numb what I was feeling, the things that I was really harping on in my mind and in my heart, and the things that were driving me to make the reckless decisions that I was making for so long. First thing I wanted to say is what's up, everybody. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for showing up tonight. Just being here really means something to me, and this is the beginning of the things like this that I'm going to be talking about. I want to use my platform as a platform for good, to put good out in the world and to try to make some real change with not only what I sing about and perform about and my messages on stage, but also my messages off stage, not only for my family and friends, but for everybody else out there that needs something, needs that relatability to be able to talk about the things that are really bothering that person. Life's never easy, and it's not easy for anyone. And if we're able to find a way to keep our belief and to reinvigorate our motivation and our determination, I think that it would make a huge positive influence in the world. And I've always believed, they say, if you're still fighting, then you're still searching. And a lot of us are, searching for peace, for answers, for something real. But I promise you, what we talk about tonight will be nothing but real. I'm a very real person. I'm transparent, and I not only want my friends and family to see my transparency, but I want my fans and the people that listen to me, the people who may not have even wanted to give me a chance, but sat down and heard my story and heard my songs, and somehow it moves them to make a change in their life. And that means the world to me, for other people to be able to hear the things that I've been through and to understand where I'm at now. It's a completely different world. It's unbelievable where I'm at compared to where I stayed for so long, and a lot of that was just me not dealing with my trauma. So getting on here and talking about these things, I think will put a lot of good out there. My name is Jeremy Bellamy, in case you've never heard of me before. I'm a musician, a songwriter, and a human being who's walked through fire, not once, but over and over and over again. I've battled addiction of every damn kind. I've fought through trauma, and sexual abuse, and mental abuse, and physical abuse. I've faced depression, anxiety that crippled my life, and epilepsy that, took away everything that I had. And they told me this crazy dream of me playing music was, a figment of my imagination, that I was not going to be able to make it happen. But I'd be damned if I let anything hold me back. And I want that to stand as an inspiration for other people. They told me I could never be on stage, that I would have to keep the lights off, they couldn't have flashing lights and stuff like that, but I fought through that. Going to doctors and then finding my own way to, I don't like taking pills, I don't like anything that brings me back to the point that I was at. So I'm more of a natural person. I like CBD oil. It takes care of the things it needs to take care of, and I don't have any inclination of ever going back to where I was. And I'm thankful that I have that. I've stood at the edge, man, more times than I ever care to admit. And I would wonder, if life was even still worth it after the people that I'd lost, the people that I lost because of the actions and the decisions that I was making, things like that. It would have me questioning all the time, and I was numbing every feeling and emotion that I would have in hopes to bring it to a lighter mood, a happier feeling, something that I could keep on as a facade for a little while. But it can only last so long. It can only, it stretches so thin. But I'm happy because I'm still here. And if you're watching, so are you. And that really matters to me. And I hope it really matters to you too. Because I know that we've all faced many things that, some of these things are unspeakable. And we don't talk about them very often. And we just, keep it in the back of our mind, compartmentalized, and let it out on our own time, usually when we're alone. I know I've been there. But you're strong if you're still here. And tonight I want to open up about how I've used music and art, not only as a career and a passion of mine, but as a survival tool, as my medicine, as that pill I take every day to make things okay, as a map back to myself. And I want to show you guys that healing is not some perfect, beautiful, Instagrammable journey. It's really messy. It's really painful. It's fucking slow. But it is possible. And this is for anyone who has ever said that, I don't know how to keep going. I hear you. And I want to go deep on this together. The first thing we really have to dive into is the reality of trauma and addiction, as this is where a lot of mine stem from. And it doesn't look the same for everybody. For some of us, trauma is a lot of abuse. For others, it's losing a parent. It's growing up in a household where love was it was always inconsistent or conditional. It's the ones being told to stay quiet. It's learning to bottle everything up you feel, because nobody out there ever made space for any kind of your pain. And trauma is being a child and feeling like you're already a burden, And that trauma doesn't disappear when we grow up. It evolves. It becomes our patterns, our triggers, our self-sabotage. It becomes the way we don't trust, the way we shut down, the way we cling to anything that numbs us. Addiction is not about partying. It's about escaping. It's about filling that hole that was carved out years ago inside of you. Maybe even before we could speak. It happens at all times in our life. And we don't become addicts because we're weak. We become addicts because we've been hurt so deeply. And no one taught us how to sit with that pain without destroying ourselves in the process. And sicknesses, whether it's mental illness, chronic disease, neurological disorders like epilepsy, sickness somehow will strip away your sense of safety. And it makes your body, your mind, your heart feel like a battlefield. But yet, here we are, still breathing, still showing up, and I believe that's courage and that's resilience. There were nights when, I was shaking on the floor, going through withdrawals, brokenhearted, tears in my eyes, my whole body screaming, and the only thing I had was a guitar and a songbook. I didn't have a therapist. I didn't have a family member I could run to that would give me solid advice and help me through whatever I was facing. I just had my 6 strings and a notebook. And in those moments, music became so much more to me than just an escape. It became a language for my pain. It gave structure to what I felt was unmanageable. It let me say things I didn't know how to say out loud. And one of the first songs I ever wrote in recovery, it wasn't very poetic. It was messy as hell. It was raw. It was filled with anger and grief and guilt. But it was mine. And for the first time, I was no longer hiding from myself. I was listening to myself. I was able to go back and listen to these songs that I would write and sing. And it was almost like something was inhabiting my soul and trying to guide me the right way, whether I would listen or not. And you don't have to be a musician to let music heal you. You just need to give yourself the permission to heal. Find a music that's matching your energy. If you're angry, blast something that's loud and scream along. If you're grieving, let a sad song hold you until the tears come. And if you're hopeful, sing that chorus like it's your fucking prayer. Music teaches us how to exist in our emotions without any kind of judgment. It's a form of release. It's a spiritual practice. And for some of us, it's the only thing that has ever truly understood us. Creativity isn't just about making things that look pretty. It's about making sense of the chaos inside of us and coming to terms with it and fighting that battle and finding peace on the other side. I started writing a lot more in recovery, not because I was any good at it, not because I'd been doing it and had it down exactly down to a T and exactly how I used to do, so to say, but because I needed a way to let the noise out of inside of me, I started putting it back on paper and started making music again. I wrote about my anger. I wrote things to myself that I would never, do anything with other than read. I created so many things, so many songs, so many poems that were just parts of myself that I wasn't ready to face yet. And I believe that music doesn't require skill. It requires honesty. And when you're healing from trauma and addiction, illness, being honest with yourself is one of the hardest things in the world. And creativity can give you that space, that private sanctuary where you don't need to explain yourself, where your pain is allowed to exist without any kind of shame. Some people can heal through all kinds of things, poetry. Others like to dance. Others like fashion, photography, woodworking, gardening, journaling, hell, baking. Whatever allows you to express it. All the unspoken things inside of you. Do it. You don't even have to create for anyone else. You can create things just to keep yourself alive. A lot of tools and habits that help me heal. I learned that there's no one size fits all path to healing, but there are tools that save me day by day, moment by moment. Daily rituals like getting up and changing one thing a day for the better, doing something a little better. I'd wake up and do something that reminded me of who I am, beyond all the pain that I've been through. And for me, it was music, first thing in the morning, blasted all day, even before the chaos would even begin, before my anxiety, before the world crept in. Having a good, honest circle, that's, I say, one of the biggest things in getting clean and finding recovery is I had to, let go of that circle I'd been around for so long. So you can't surround yourself with all kinds of terrible people and expect yourself to get any better. And I'm really, a close person, and the people that I had next to me and the people that I had in my life, I was very close to. So I had to let go of those people, who just loved to see me broken and could never handle me even thinking about healing. I really still feel that's the hardest part. finding people and friends, who wouldn't flinch when you would tell them the truth about yourself. And people who want to see you free and want to see you do well. I set time aside every day to try to write a song or sing, even if I didn't feel like it. And especially when I didn't feel like it. That resistance I felt all the time, I guess that's where the growth came from. When my thoughts got too heavy, I would try to move. I'd go for a walk, listen to music, try to breathe. Because healing isn't just in the mind. The body stores all your trauma too. And I've relapsed, many times. I'd fallen back into darkness. But every time I get back up, I've always gotten back up. Because healing is not a straight line, it's a spiral. And you'll keep revisiting old pain, but I swear each time you'll return stronger. Let's see. And, I used faith a lot. And God was always a big thing in my life. And using the universe and the energy around me and simply the belief that life still held some kind of purpose for me. I clung on to that. In my weakest moments, I let that faith inside of me carry me. And I wanted to say something to the one of you that may be watching this who may feel invisible, to the one who is so tired, the one who thinks it's too late to change anything, the one who's still using, still lying, and still crumbling and breaking underneath the weight of it all. You are not too far gone. You are not unlovable. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not the worst thing you've done. You're a human being doing your best to survive a world that never taught you how to process your pain. You are not weak for struggling. You're strong for enduring. And you should feel proud of that. And I promise you this, all the pain that you faced will not be wasted. If you choose to stay, to fight, to create, to cry, to scream, to speak, to sing your song, I promise you will rise. Your scars will become stories. Your wounds will become wisdom. Your survival will become someone else's miracle. So I ask all of you to breathe, stay, and keep going. The world needs your voice. The world needs your art. The world needs your testimony, your story, your resilience. And I don't want you to let your pain be the end of your story. Let it be the chapter that changed everything for you. Whether you're in the first hour of sobriety or you're 10 years into healing from your trauma, keep showing up. Keep using your creativity as fuel and keep making beauty out of what tried to break you. You are not broken. You're becoming exactly who you need to be. I want you to stay alive, stay real, stay open, and stay loud. You guys can do this. None of this is a pretty story. It's not a fairy tale. It's not the kind of story you hear on highlight reels or you read on motivational posters. This is about facing your demons, the real ones. The ones that come from trauma, heartbreak, abandonment, abuse, addiction, grief, fear, and so on and so forth. The ones that live inside of your silence, inside of your shame, in the shadows of all your thoughts inside your brain. And it's about rising. Because the fact that you're still here, it means that you haven't given up. And if you haven't given up, then there's still a fight to be had and a victory out there that is waiting for you. So let's talk about defeating your demons, how to face them, break their grip, and reclaim your life. You can't defeat what you don't face. Most of us live in denial of our pain, and we normalize it, we numb it, we joke about it. But what we don't do, and what we must do, is name it. The hell are your demons called? Is it from abandonment? That time your parent left and never came back? Shame? The way someone made you feel unworthy of love? Guilt? The things you did to survive that you now regret? Fear? Being vulnerable? Of being hurt again? Of never being enough for whatever it is that you need? Anger? The rage that just simmers underneath every single thing that you do in life? Write them down. Say them out loud. Because these demons only thrive in silence. If you name the pain, it gives you power over it. It says, I see you, and you don't control me. And finding acceptance of what you've been through, this part fucking sucks. It hurts. It is not my favorite at all. We all wish we could go back and change things. Undo the trauma, whether it's trauma you created or trauma that was done to you. To somehow go back and rewrite the past. But unfortunately, healing is not about pretending that it didn't happen. It's about saying, yeah, it did, but I'm still here. And what happened to you was not your fault, no matter what it may be. I just want you to let that sink in. The abuse, not your fault. The neglect, not your fault. The addictions, not your fault. The self-harm, not your fault. The way you lashed out according to the things that you were feeling, not your fault. They are responses to pain that no one helped you understand how to carry. And accepting what happened in your life does not mean that you're excusing it. It means that you're trying to put a stop to the war inside yourself long enough to finally start properly healing. And I honestly believe that acceptance and belief are the keys to freedom. When you're fighting for yourself, once you face every demon and you've accepted your lies and your truths, the real battles start. And the battles are daily, sometimes hourly, even minutes. It's choosing yourself over and over again, especially on the days that you feel unworthy of ever being chosen. You fight by showing up and by saying, I'm not going to let this define who I am. Someday the fights look like they're getting out of bed. Some days it's saying no to that drink, that hit, telling that lie. Some days it's breaking down, crying, and still choosing to stay alive rather than running away. And I believe that we can fight by building a new story. One step, one choice at a time. Because I don't believe any of us are weak for struggling. I think we are very strong for continuing and trying to grow. And we can't do it alone. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my beautiful wife and my children, who gave me a new perspective in life to be better and to not cover up everything that was wrong in my life with a substance. Because we were never meant to fight alone. I believe we heal together and we can recover in new relationships. You need people around you, like friends who will tell you the truth, but do it in love. You need, a therapist who will help you find the root of your pain. And believe me, I went through therapy a lot as a teenager and stuff like that. And it helped to a degree, but I didn't accept it. And as men, it's a lot harder I see statistically for us to, properly open up about the things that we're feeling or the things that we've been through, so that somebody can completely analyze and tell us why we feel the way we do. But I did that in the last few years, and I am a completely new person. And I have made amends with so much. And that's a great feeling to not have that burden and that weight on you anymore. And finding recovery groups, people, I use my Facebook, I use my TikTok. I try to make music that tells my story, as well as music that will help other people that are facing the darknesses that I've faced find a light to get out of the darkness. It's always good to, have people that are similar to you, at least in your idea of what you're trying to get to. People who you can look at and see what a model of what healing can look like. It's always good to have that. I'm even guilty of following, a lot of my heroes and everything are, they didn't ever try. And it's sad, A lot of my musical heroes, people that made me me, people who influenced me to be the person I am today, most of them didn't try. And I always had like an inside faith, a belief. And it was good to always have something bigger than myself to lean on. None of us are burdens. I believe that we're all warriors. But we all need rest. And we all need to, back up sometimes and just accept love and give love properly. And find people who, can see your wounds and they don't flinch at them or judge you for them. They walk with you. They're right by your side. If anything, that makes them more connected to you. And, pain, a lot of people say, the pain makes you stronger. The pain didn't make you stronger. It's what you did with your pain that made you stronger. And your purpose in this life is not just surviving, it's in transforming and shining. When you take your trauma and you turn it into a song or painting, a poem, a testimony, support group, a conversation with somebody that may need to hear it, you are turning all those demons into dust, and you are overcoming them. So let your story help other people, and let all the scars that you wear upon your skin be proof that healing is real, and don't be ashamed of them. There's probably more people than you know sitting out there and waiting to hear what you've been through so that they can survive whatever it is they're going through. Our purpose is always bigger than our pain. Let's say that again. Our purpose is always bigger than our pain. And healing is never going to be a one-time decision. It has to become your lifestyle. There will be days that the demons whisper over and over again in your ear, in your mind. And when you feel like giving up, when the old voices say you ain't changed, you're still broken, take that hit, tell that lie, and make this terrible decision that you know is wrong. Don't listen, because it's just a lie. Because you're healing every time that you choose to tell the truth. And I was a pathological liar, I know. And that's just as strong of addiction than, the pills, the drugs I was doing. It was hard to get over and to change that. But changing that habit was transformative. You are healing every time you let yourself feel whatever it is you're feeling, rather than pushing it away and putting it away in your mind and trying not to mess with it, and try not to pay attention to it and hope it fades away. You are healing every time that you choose love over shame. I believe that you can stay in the fight. You can keep, journals. Keep creating whatever it is that you create that makes you happy, that makes you feel like you. Keep sharing your testimony with other people. Keep trying to reach out to others that you see going through things, especially things that you have faced on your own. Tell your story. Do not be locked in that endless loop of keeping everything that you've been through inside of you. Because if you tell your story and give your testimony, you can absolutely, Amy. You're not allowed to quit, but you can get through it. Keep sharing, keep praying, keep moving, keep breathing, keep believing, because your life it's worth fighting for. You guys are not your trauma. You are not your addictions. You're not the sickness that you've been diagnosed with. You're a living, breathing muscle, and you're a soul that refuses to be silenced. A warrior who continues to rise. Your demons may have followed you for years and years and years and years and years, but they do not get the final word. You do. And your word should be this. I choose to live. I choose to win. I choose to fight. Not just survive, not just exist, but thrive. With purpose, with passion, with truth, with hope. Because you're already defeating all of your demons with every breath that you take and every step that you take. Now I wanted to open up the end of this for any questions anyone may have. This has been nice. I haven't done this in a long time, but I wanted to get on here and start doing this and really trying to use my platform to help other people. Because, like I said, I was addicted for 13 years to basically every substance out there, just all the time. And I was a pathological liar. I have fought many illnesses, and I am a sexual assault survivor. I have been mentally, physically, and sexually abused, and that was a lot to work through, but I did. And if I can give any advice to anyone, is to don't lose your belief. Stay strong, believe in yourself, and never give up. I appreciate you guys so much, and I'll be putting